Welcome to the Spinwhiz Comic Show. Whoa. From Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us for exclusive interviews with the publishers bringing you the newest titles in indie comics, webcomics, movies, and more.
No way.
And now, here's your host, Jeff Palumbo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. I am your host of the Spinwhiz Comic Show, Jeff Palumbo. Welcome. Thanks for being here, everybody. We had a really great show for you tonight. One of our first publishers, Crazy Monkey Inc., was befriended us quite a while back, over a year ago now. And one of their comics is called FiveStar. And it's fantastic. I'll drop the link in here. And again, if you have been part of the show before, you've been watching live on Twitch, that's great. But if you're watching on YouTube, the links are below. If you're actually listening to the podcast, the links are in the transcript. You're good to go. Don't worry, you won't miss anything. But if it's live streaming and you're here, welcome. But FiveStar was one of the ones they had first kind of come to us with. I'm going to drop the link in before I bring this nice gentleman, just because I don't want him to be overwhelmed, and I want everybody to be like, wow, this is really great. I'm going to pop it in here. The gentleman that we're actually going to bring in is somebody that I actually just recently met. I've known of him because of FiveStar, but I haven't actually had the chance to actually meet him. This is kind of the first time, except for our little bit that we talked about prior to the interview. I know you guys are interested. I'm super interested. I want to get to know him. The comic is fantastic, so without further ado, I'm going to bring in author and creator, and I'm going to let him introduce the hotness that is coming. I need to check his Kickstarter, too, because Tony Klapper seems to be the man, the myth, the legend already, and I want to see what he's done already. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring him in. Tony Klapper. I got to find the right one. There we go. Tony, are you there? Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Klapper, everybody. Tony, thank you for being here. We might have some questions from people live, maybe not. Regardless, we're going to have a great time. This is the first time of us really meeting. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. You've got some really hot... Well, no, I mean, it's already great. See, we're already jiving. I know there's some hype on the Kickstarter. We're going to get to FiveStar number 3 in a couple minutes. But first, what I like to do when we're meeting new people is really, since I'm meeting you new, chances are a lot of other people are meeting you as well. And part of the fun of indie comics is the fact that you get to directly connect with all these new people, whether it be content creators or readers specifically. So let's talk a little bit about you. How did you get into first writing, and then how did you get into creating FiveStar?
Actually, before I did comics, I was actually a hip hop artist. So, if you can write music, it's just writing in general has always been a passion of mine. Writing poetry, writing songs. So I just transitioned that into to writing comic books.
Wait a minute. So you started writing like lyrics, or were you a rapper? Were you a singer? Like, how long?
I was a rapper, yeah, man. Yeah. I was I used to go by Young Adley, and I got a few music videos out. I was a Christian rapper. So yeah, man, it started off with that. Just at one point I was a part of a record label. We had about 11 artists on it. So that was like my first bit of like my writing career. Was writing songs. And when that got to a place where I was like, man, at first I tried to do both, write songs and write comics, but the comics just kind of took over, man. And it's my real passion. It's something that I've always loved for forever. So that's where I kind of made that transition from writing music to writing comics.
That's so in the lyrics that you used to write. Obviously, I'm thinking if you were a Christian rapper, they had a little bit to do with Jesus. I'm just kind of putting it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you find that getting into a comic-related world that wasn't necessarily religious, or that was difficult in transitioning your writing style? And obviously, writing lyrics, they usually rhyme. I don't remember reading any rhyming going through FiveStar.
No. It was definitely. I guess that just kind of took into the. When I've always liked story writing in general. So, that part was easy to transition to. Also, even though I actually don't like the term Christian rapper because I'm just a rapper who happens to be a Christian, and you hear my life through my songs. I use that term just so I could explain it better, but it wasn't a hard transition for me because I'm not a religious person.
Okay.
I'm I believe in Jesus and I believe in loving people, and that's just a transitional message of that. And so you'll see a little bit through FiveStar, but it's not like an overbearing tone or anything like that.
So really, you started writing comics about 3 years ago, was that correct?
Yeah, about 3 years ago now. Yep.
And you already have your own title, and you're going on issue number 3.
Yes, sir.
So how did you hook up with Crazy Monkey Inc.?
We so FiveStar got to the point to where before the first book got out, I was gonna try to do it all on my own. Overachiever, real ambitious, and financially it wasn't something that I could do. I am a father, husband, and trying to support my family and get this comic book rolling was kind of difficult. So I just kind of put out an ad there like, hey man, I got this product. I believe it's a good product and I'm looking for someone to publish me. And I had a few people reach out to me, and Gabriel was one of the ones that really just stuck out to me, man. He's a real awesome dude, and right off the bat, just from talking to him, we hit it off, and his passion for the project is, right there with mine. He messaged me and was like, yo, man, I just love this product. I just love the story. I love the look. I love everything about it. I want you on Crazy Monkey Inc. So we just clicked, and it was an easy transition to that. I consider him a friend. I consider him, me and him chatted up daily. And beyond the comic books, man, he's just a good dude, and he has passion for the product as well.
Are you on the West Coast as well, or are you East Coast?
No, I'm from Ohio, man. Here in Ohio.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's still quite a distance. I mean, you and I are actually closer from North Carolina to Ohio than you are to San Diego, where Gabriel is.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the artists that you have on this, are they from Gabriel and Crazy Monkey, or are they your guys or girls?
They're just some people that I linked up with, actually.
Okay.
All the artists that are on the project, so issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3 all have different artists. It's not something that we're gonna do in every issue, but we're just been trying to, with every book, whether it's writing, lettering, or art, we want to take it to the next level. We want to keep increasing, keep growing, and I think that's a big part of anything you do, especially me as a writer. I'll tell you now, issue 3 is, to me, is some of the best writing that I've done, and that's because I learned from issue 1, I learned from issue 2, and that I think that transitions in my work. I think.
Funny how whether it's. I'm sorry. Keep going. Nope. Keep going.
So whether same with the art, I've had all great artists, easy to work with, just real good guys. But we wanted to take it to that next step, and I believe Fish Lee is the artist for issue 3. He brings a feel to it. He captures the emotion, and it being an all-age title, I want kids to visually just be able to see it and see the emotion in the characters without even having to read it. And he does that.
That's awesome. And I think a big thing that I like is the fact it is all ages. I think a lot of comics right now, people think, well, they're indie. They're probably a lot of nudity. There's a lot of stuff you can't do in Marvel and DC. There's a lot of shooting and killing. And really the opposite side of that is Marvel and DC don't do a lot of all-age anything that's not directed towards a specific audience. And this stuff falls outside of that box. So I think it's fantastic. And there are people that listen, contact me, and they're like, hey, I know that you have all sorts of stuff on Spinwhiz Comics. What do you have that my kids are safe reading? And I have no problem saying you need to check out FiveStar.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that definitely means a lot. And that was the goal when I wrote the book. I was like, man, I want something that my kids can pick up and read. And I wanted my book to have I always say I wanted to have that like that Saturday morning cartoon feel to it,
Mm-hmm.
because there was nothing better than that. Waking up, um, watching your Saturday morning cartoons, and that's what I wanted my series to be like for kids. But I also wanted it to have enough story and context to where adults can follow a story and love the story as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think you do that. Funny, going back to what you had said about learning from 1 to 2 to 3. I had my own comic, which if obviously people have been watching the show, they've heard me mention it. That I learned a lot, not necessarily by writing, but by what people said about what they liked and disliked about the comic. And I didn't tweak my writing at all, but I definitely went back and reread it, trying to be in their shoes and saw how they saw it. And I'm like, damn, okay, there's ways I can tweak it to make it sharper, to make it better, to make it not so wordy, and get to the point. And allow the imagery to do a lot of the talking. Because when I had originally written mine, it was novel format. It wasn't a comic book. So I transitioned, and I had to take a lot of the fluff that creates imagery in people's minds and allow the artists to do it themselves. Did you find that when you transitioned from music over to comics that you had that same deal? Because you're trying to paint a picture with music. Did you have to do the same thing where you're like, I don't have to do that much anymore and take maybe some of the wordiness out of it?
Yeah, that was hard for me. I think that overall, I mean, your first time writing a comic book, that's the biggest part, because you have this story in your mind and you're like, man, how can I get it out and not be too wordy? And I just think you got to develop in your writing and develop into what the reader wants to how the reader are going to read it. Like you were saying, it was tough at first, I'd have word words taking up half the page, and luckily I had a good editor who was like, yo man, you gotta cut some of that. So
90% gone.
Yeah. And I got two new editors for FiveStar 3, and that's just another part of just taking your craft serious. And because issue 2 we had a few editorial things in issue 2, and a lot of people might not even caught it, but the ones who did, it made me really like, okay, take a step back. I don't want that to hinder someone from enjoying the book. So let's get the extra support in there. And I think with the team that I got now is the team that I would like to move forward for the rest of the series for sure.
Nice. So how many issues now? We're on number 3 in Kickstarter, and we'll get to that in just a minute.
Yes.
But how many are you thinking? Is this an ongoing series? Does it stop at a certain time?
I want to keep it going.
300 plus. Let's do it.
Yeah. Issue 5 will round about the story that we're on now. It'll give you the complete backstory. Because right now we're doing flashbacks and a little bit of back and forward stuff. And I wanted people to know when they read the issue that there's more to this. Issue 1 we left on a cliffhanger. Issue 2 we left on a cliffhanger. Issue 3 will leave on a cliffhanger. So I want people to, and they're not always going to end like that, but I want people to know like there's more to this. I want them to feel excited when they get done reading the book, like, ooh, I can't wait till the next issue comes out. And I use the reference a lot. It's just like I said, like a good cartoon that just brings you in, and it's got that to be continued at the bottom, and you're like, oh, I gotta catch this next Saturday. So that was the points of the books. Also with FiveStar, he's the first hero in our universe that we're creating, but he's not the first hero. He's not the first hero in that universe. He's already, like, in the start of his series, he is trying to find his place in a world that's already got established superheroes. And they haven't, in issue 2, you get a quick glance at one of those heroes, and we'll make references through the books and until we eventually bring them out. But there's already, for 50 plus years, there's already been superheroes in this world. There's already been super villains in this world. And it's kind of mine and his journey are the same, because just as there's already been established comic book writers in my world, in his world there's already established superheroes. So he's trying to find his place in that world. I'm trying to find my place in my world. So
there you go. And so while we're at it, let's talk a little bit more about FiveStar. What is the premise of it for the people that haven't? I mean, Spinwhiz Comics has issue number 1, and you can buy it and support you and Gabriel and the rest of the crew if you want it. Issue number 2 currently is up for free, so you can read it and kind of get that hook.
Cool.
But in general, without giving out too many spoilers, because that's the problem with comics is you don't want to give out the spoilers because usually you guys are really good at doing it. And Gabriel just said Tony Klapper in the house, so he's in our chat.
Yeah.
He's
What's up, Gabe?
My
boy.
Gabe's come to heckle you. We got some other people in here. If you are watching, by all means, ask questions. I'm looking at the prompter. If you're on YouTube or listening on podcast, just come in next time. You can ask all the questions you want. Until then, we'll take whatever we want on stream. But going back, what do you want kind of the setup? What's your pitch for people that may want to jump into FiveStar?
FiveStar, like I said, man, it's high action, but it gives you a story. So Kevin Terry to me is that's the name. That's FiveStar's identity, Kevin Terry.
Mm-hmm.
He's an unsung hero. He's somebody who's already fighting in his community before he's got superpowers, and I don't think that's highlighted enough. I don't think we highlight like teachers and people who do nonprofit things in their neighborhoods who are already fighting to save for their neighborhood, to save their neighborhood. And he was already somebody who was doing that. He was real active in his community. Tragedy happens, he gets powers. So now how does he balance sticking to his moral code at the same time his identity is known? So he's getting hit up by celebrities who want to, invite him to celebrity parties. He's asking people if there's people who want to sponsor him. Anytime he says somebody's wanting to take a selfie with him. So he's got to balance all those things. And then in the current issue now is he's dealing with the loss. He's dealing with the loss of a friend. So he's got a lot of emotional things going on. And that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted the story. We wanted that Peter Parker feel with Kevin Terry. We wanted you to be able to relate to the character as Kevin Terry. And then, boom, you get the action of the FiveStar side.
Mm-hmm. And he's learning all these skills too. Like it didn't pop
learning,
into it.
He
knows what's going on. He's trying to find not only what his new responsibility is or should be, but what these powers even entail. Correct?
Yes, he right now in issue 1, if you haven't read it yet, you'll see him learning his powers, and he still doesn't know all the way. Every issue he's learning something new, something different. So he's got to deal with that. He's working with a team of people right now that he really doesn't know. He's not seeing his family really to keep them kind of out of danger. So as of issue 1 and 2, his identity is still unknown. But issue 3, without, that's not too big of a spoiler, his identity just comes out. So not too big of a spoiler.
It happens.
His identity comes out, but he doesn't wear a mask because that's the whole, that's the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lady asked him, like, you don't wear a mask, so I guess you don't care about your identity being known. And he's just like, oh yeah, well, my name's Kevin Terry. So
that's awesome. Well, let me drop the link in chat. So for those of you that are on here, again, if you're on YouTube, the chat's underneath. If you are on the point of the podcast, it's in the transcription. But the Kickstarter link is in there by Crazy Monkey Inc. and Tony here. Now, when did you guys launch the Kickstarter?
September 25th.
Okay, so it's going for what, another 2 weeks-ish?
Yeah, about another 2 weeks. I think it's 19 days. So.
Okay. How are we doing so far?
We are over the halfway mark.
Damn, there you go.
Our goal was 2,500,
and
we're currently over 1,500. So with
That's
19
good.
days ago. So yeah, man, we're excited, and it's our biggest one. We did a Kickstarter with issue 1. It wasn't quite as big, and then we did a small one with issue 2, just as like a pre-order. And we're learning as we go. We as far as Crazy Monkey Inc. goes, and Kickstarters go, I was actually the first. FiveStar was the first book that Crazy Monkey Inc. did as a Kickstarter. I kept telling Gabriel, like, man, we need to hit this Kickstarter thing up. I think it'll be a good way to get the book out. And He was a little stubborn at first, and then I think he's seen like it does work if we did it right. And me and him just put our minds together, man, and we totally just I'm sorry, I got a little tongue tied there.
That's all good.
We just put our minds together, man, and we're learning from it. Still learning curve for us. We're trying to in every aspect of the business right now, we're learning and we're evolving. So as a publisher, as a writer, as an art team, just everything. So
let's talk about that real quick, because I think a lot of people that want to do their own comic, I don't think they quite understand, or they might not necessarily see the scope and scale of the hustle, or what I call the hustle.
Yeah.
And that's and you do it, Gabe does it, I do it.
Yeah.
It's that passion that you have for it. It's not driven by money. It's driven by passion of people wanting you want people to read your comic. You want people to see it. You put together all your blood, sweat, and tears into this. I know Gabriel's the same way. His Instagram is always just, he's blessed in that thing constantly. I think a lot of people like you and I and Gabriel have families, have full-time jobs, and then do this on the side, knowing full well that it's not going to fill our pocketbooks maybe ever, but we have a lot of fun doing it, and it's a passion that do you feel that same way? Like you don't mind the hustle because it's just so much, quote unquote, where there could be stressful times in general when somebody comes up to you and you're like, dude, I read this, it's awesome, or you're at a show and you're like, I want the signed one, and you sign it and you hand it over and they're smiling. Is that what keeps you going?
Oh yeah, that to me is the biggest thing. For one, just holding my first issue in my hands, holding that first hard copy, and just thinking to myself, like, man, I did this. Like, not that everybody can say that, that they published a comic book, and just the excitement of people, especially with the kids, man. I do a lot of things in my community, give out books, and then I also go to like classrooms and show off my book to like kindergarten classes or first grade classes, and just show them that if they keep their mind to it, they can do it. But that's what it's all about for me. I mean, like you said, it's not a money thing, because if that was the case, we'd all be getting rich off of it. But it's definitely not that. It's just a passion for comics, and just a love for wanting to tell stories. So
that's awesome. Let's go back to one thing that I this will get off topic of comics a little, but I want to hear what your thoughts of it are. And so it's going to get a little personal. So for everybody watching right now or listening, be like, oh, damn, I don't have music that makes it sound all like crazy. But you brought up the point of he is a hero, much like people that we don't give enough recognition to in our communities. My son and I were watching Karate Kid Part 2 tonight, because I'm older. I'm 41, and I'm
love Karate Kid.
See, I mean, I knew we were friends to begin with. I mean, it's that's there. But in that, for years, I have been telling him, Hudson, there's a difference between bad people, nice people, and good people, and the world needs more good people. And today he kind of brought it up, and he kept when we were watching Karate Kid Part 2, when at the very near the end where Daniel and Mr. Miyagi went out to help people, and then they came back and they were putting their lives on the line, he said, Daddy, are they being good? And it finally clicked that either my parenting's on key and on mark, or he just happened to pick it up and say the wrong word. And I said, yes, there are lots of people in this world who are nice, which means they're the people standing in that little hut, don't want to get hit by the storm. They're not necessarily bad people,
right? Yeah,
but they want to feel safe, and that is what they want to do. And then there are good people, and good people put themselves out there for the betterment of society, for the betterment of people, for the betterment of those around them, not necessarily always thinking about themselves, but what they can give back, even for a reason of no origin story, meaning they, something bad happened to them and that's why they do it. Some people just do it because they feel like it's the right thing to do. Do you agree, or does that just sound so messed up that
No, I totally agree, man. There's people who I think nice is being nice is good, and don't get me wrong, but there's a state of comfortability that we get into, to where we know that our nice is good enough, and getting into where we're doing things that we have a passion for, or things that we know that could help the next man. That seems kind of scary because we don't know the risk in that. So we're good over here on our nice ledge, I'll call it, because taking that jump into actually putting somewhere else forward and helping them, we don't know what the repercussions will be for us, and that scares a lot of people, I think.
Yep, I agree with you. And that even just, I think what other people are saying is, well, I gave money, I'm a good person. And I'm thinking, no, you're
no.
like, it's great. Thank you for being super nice. And if that's how you want to give your time and that's how you want to help, there's nothing wrong with that. You are still a good person. However, if push comes to shove, would you still be that person? If you didn't have, what are you doing if you didn't have the money? And I keep telling my son that. Like, my wife and I do a whole bunch of stuff in the community. She does way more than I do, and she's fantastic. I mean, she is a really good person.
That's awesome.
But I keep telling my son, you don't need money to be a good person. And you will see that some of those nice people can also, when their world kind of shifts a little bit, can become very selfish, very bad people very quickly.
Real quick,
And I said, and that's what makes the good people more important, because 90% of the population are nice people. 8% are bad people, and 2% are really good people. But if we can shift some more people from that 90 over to good, the world will change drastically for the better.
Yeah, man, that's good. I totally 100% agree with that.
Okay,
I mean, good stuff, man.
I didn't know if it was just me, and I mean, I don't smoke what Gabe does by any means, because that's not legal in North Carolina. It's not my thing anyway. But it, like, I just wanted to see if in the comic, because this is so focused on being that good person, that he doesn't even sometimes know if it's what he should be doing. If that was part of, like, one of your inner streams of monologue that you wanted to portray in this comic. Would you agree with that, disagree, or just kind of happen that way?
No, I would agree with that. Kevin Terry is actually based off two people that I know in real life. One's name's Kevin Aldridge. The other one's name is Terry Shores. You put their names together, boom, Kevin Terry.
I love it.
One is a middle school teacher and a pastor. The other one is a pastor, and he owns his own nonprofit organization where he does like a lot of youth basketball stuff. And both of them are good people who are out fighting for their neighborhood, fighting where they grew up, fighting for what they grew up in, trying to make a difference in the youth's life, trying to influence the youth to that they can be more than what the city is saying that they have to be. And that's what Kevin Terry is all about, and you'll see that in flashbacks. I don't know if you can hear the baby, but I am a family man, so
I am too.
Anyway,
that's all right. Let him cry.
So yeah, you'll see that in the book through flashbacks, and you'll see his passion for his community and his passion for the youth and his passion to help his fellow man, no matter the cost, or and I think, like you were saying, having more people in the world like that would be the game changer for the world we live in now. So
and I think that once people actually get out to do something nice for other people, I think not to get spiritual or anything like that, people can take it as they want, but there is a blessing that comes with it that is almost you want to feel it again when you actually give or help based off of your own kindness. It becomes very addictive to want to do more, to want to help, because not that you want to feel as though it's not anything to do with you. I think some people may start that way, like I gave $1,000 and people congratulated me, but I think once you feel what it actually does, you're like, I don't really care, because I already got the gift.
It's a gift in itself. It
really is,
for sure.
And again, my wife and I do a bunch. My wife goes above and beyond to give and do great stuff. I wish more people would, and I think if this is, I am going somewhere with this.
No, you're good, man. I'm loving it, man.
All age comics have a way of, if they were to enter, and my comic is not all age. My comic is something that kids should not read. And that's okay.
Hey man, I feel like there's got to be something for all audiences.
There is.
Yeah.
There most definitely is. But I think comics like yours, with parents that want to share a comic with a kid, whether it be a son, daughter, niece, nephew, whatever it might be that is younger, I think comics like this genre of all age, but showing that superheroes aren't perfect and you don't have to be perfect. And at the end of the day, it's trying to do your best to make sure your family's taken care of and that you are doing the best for other people is a fantastic brand loyalty that can only help the world in the future, not just comics. 'Cause a lot of people say, well, it's just pages, and then you have the other argument that comics aren't art. And I would say that some comics are not art, but I think a lot of it can be artistic for sure. But I think there is a lot of that underlying thing that you can see from people my age and maybe your age, even though I think I'm a little older than you, of when we were growing up reading Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, people that their whole goal was to become good, that you see that resonating with people my age when something might pop up. And lately, I don't think that has been there. I don't feel that Marvel and DC have done a good job bringing it, because I think they moved with the demographic. I think they and that's fine. You know, they had us when they were kids. Now they're still marketing to us.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think that leaves a massive void in what you were trying to bring into a demographic that really needs some heroes to look up to, emulate, even if they are not necessarily real yet. And I think that's amazing that you're doing that, regardless of whether you wanted to do that or not. I think it's difficult, but it's definitely great, and I think every kid should read FiveStar for sure. And adults with that. And we have number 2 free on the site right now. Don't worry, we'll throw that back in there. That's not a big thing. I'm actually going to drop it in there real quick. So let me see. There it is in the chat. Again, YouTube, it's underneath. You're good to go. Transcripts for anybody on the podcast, you're all set. So I told you that we'd crush this. It's already been like 35, 40 minutes.
Cool. Now, yeah, man, I'm enjoying the comments. Is enjoying it, man. It's some good stuff, and I'm definitely grateful that you had me on here, and it's been a good chat, man, for sure.
So one more thing before you go, what's next for Tony? What do we have coming up? Not just necessarily number 3. We had briefly talked about the fact that you might be getting into video also, or live streaming also.
Yeah, so my kids, and I'm sure most people's kids are in this this fad now. They love watching YouTubers. They love to watch other kids play with toys when they have the same toys at their house, which I think is funny. But they're always like, let's do YouTube, and so with FiveStar is my main character, and with the new edition being born, baby number 3, I started using this little hashtag FiveStar fam, as in us, because there's 5 of us, FiveStar fam, and me and my kids do a few live videos and stuff, and I just got the idea, like, hey, that'd be kind of a cool little name for our channel, so we came up with Pow Wham Bam with the FiveStar fam, and we're currently working on some like promo pieces to put with the channel, and it's just gonna be me and my kids just chatting it up, doing what we do, man. Talking awesome. Superheroes, promoting my stuff, but at the same time just hearing like their take on things, because kids always say just what's on their mind, they bring it to you real. And I just love that. And my son's a character, man. He's like the funniest little guy I know, man. And he's gonna bring a bunch of humor. And then my daughter, she's just so smart, so it'll pretty much just be them telling me what they think about the stuff I'm talking about.
I love it.
And go ahead.
No, make sure you share it with me when it pops out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I don't, it won't be anything too structured or nothing. It'll just be us having fun. That's something that they want to do, so I'm going to support that. And in the same sense, I can use it to help support what I got going on, and we can work together as a family on that. And it'll be a nice little family project. Speaking of family projects, me and my daughter are we're writing another. She's co-writing with me another all-age title called La Chica Gata.
I love it.
With a female lead. I knew right away the first show that I did locally. I need something for the little girls because there was they were excited still to get FiveStar, but like I could just tell that they wanted that female character, and so I knew right away that I wanted to work on that, and I thought to myself, well, it'd be cool if my daughter could co-write this with me. So that's exciting, and she's also in issue 3. We have a 5-page preview of La Chica Gata in FiveStar issue 3.
Fantastic. That is awesome. So how old is she?
She's 7. Yeah.
Okay, that's my son's age. So they're the same age.
Cool.
How old's your boy?
He is 4.
And then the baby?
Just turned 4 today, actually. Today's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, big man. And then
the
baby's brand new?
Brand new, man. She just hit a month, so.
Holy gosh. And you're still cranking out comics, which means you're getting zero sleep.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Life comes up. Life is always going to come at you, and that's the biggest thing I tell people. How do you find time to do that, or and it's like life is always going to be life, man. Like whether you got stuff going on in it, or you got work, you got kids and stuff. If you're truly passionate about something, you want to get it out there, you'll find the time to do it.
Yep.
And that's what I tell myself every day, man, just to make it worth it. Like you want this out. You love the reaction on kids' face when they read your book. And it's opening doors for me in the community. I'm going to actually, starting this month, I'll be teaching a creative writing class as an after-school program at an elementary school here locally. So it's just opening up doors for me. And the whole goal with that is to reach the other side of the classroom, because we have, in this town of mine, we have a problem with, if you're not the kid who can throw a football or shoot a jumper, you're kind of the oddball in class. Oh, he just write. He don't like sports. He's weird. He just writes stories, or he just draws all them pictures all the time. And we want to create something for those kids, like to encourage them to embrace that. For me personally, I've always loved comics. I've always loved to write stories, but that wasn't the cool thing to say in high school. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just think, like, what if I would have been writing back then? Or someone would have encouraged me, like, hey, man, keep up with that, because who knows, one day you'll be writing half the entertainment that people enjoy to watch.
Yep.
It's those kids who have a passion for that kind of stuff that's going to be a part of the entertainment that we all love and all enjoy. And if more parents would encourage that in kids, we'd see a lot more of it at an early age, instead of it just being like coming out afterwards, or you do it in your spare time when no one's around because you don't want to be the oddball. So
dude, that's awesome. So I can definitely tell you are a good person, and that's fantastic. I appreciate it, man. And you make me look like I don't do anything, and I work a lot. I mean, talk about hustling. Like, you got it all. And obviously having a supportive spouse is a big part of what we do.
Oh yeah, dude. I couldn't. Not one thing that I do, I couldn't do without the support of my wife, man. She, since day one, even when it got hard, when I was trying to make the transition between music and comics, and I was doing both, and everything you do requires putting money in to make money or to accomplish things. And, that was a rough spot, and she still supported me all the way. And finally, I just had to make the grown man choice of letting one go. And she was supportive through all that, man.
Definitely makes a huge difference. I think a lot of the people who succeed have that very supportive spouse with them. I mean, there are people that are unfortunately divorced that make it happen, but even they are great parents, and their kids support them quite a bit, and they're like, this is awesome, and they do it because they think the kids think it's great.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's people that are single, they're just getting into relationships, whether they be dating or getting married. And it's a big deal with that as well, because they know what their passion is, and those wives or husbands or partners or whatever they might be accept that already, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And by the way, so Gabriel's in here saying Tony Klapper is a good man, agent of change. He walks his walk, big fan.
Hey, that's my dude, man. That's what I was telling you, man. Me and Gabriel, we hit it off right off the bat, man. I could tell from his first message he sent me, his passion for not only comics, just everything that he loves. His daughter, he's a good parent. He's just all about it, man. He's all about fitness. He's all about, like, if he's about it, That's what I love about that dude, man. If it's something that he likes, that he likes it because he lets it known.
Yep,
and
does.
That's what I love about that dude, man. He's a good dude, man. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now with the FiveStar series if it wasn't for him, man. For sure.
Super good dad. You can tell his daughter is in like half of, if not more of his posts, and she's just smiling. And she's beautiful. And then, but he comes out with all positivity all the time.
All the time.
Dude started working out. Now he's jacked like the Hulk.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I've actually, what's cool about that is I got to witness that whole transaction with him.
Dude's ripped now.
When we first met, he wasn't on that kick, but now he's just like he's made it a part of his life, and he's found a way to incorporate his fitness life into his comic life with his Instagram videos. He's in there getting it, working out, and he's promoting a comic at the same time.
He's a beast, and another good dude that is
for sure.
Agent for change and good. And you can see that through how he treats his daughter and how much he loves her, what he's trying to do with comics. So, listen, man, it's 10 o'clock Eastern time. You've got 3 kids. And I'm sure one of them is going to want to go to bed here sometime soon. Anything else you want to say before we sign off, before we kind of check out? By the way, this is not the last time I want to talk. You are welcome to come on anytime, even if you just want to shoot
Oh man,
stuff.
yeah, I'm for sure, bro.
Next time we're gonna get Gabe in here with us.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
We're gonna Gabe, I'm calling you out right now. Next time, me, you, and Tony, and we're gonna do it'll be like a picture type thing, so we can all chat together. But is there anything else you want to tell anybody, whether it be about FiveStar, whether it be about you, what you got coming, where you were, anything before we sign off?
Yeah, man. Just if you find time, check out that Kickstarter, man. We're like you can tell by the way I'm talking about it. I'm passionate about the project. I just really do think that this is, me and Gabe. Gabe will tell you too. He's been telling me since I sent him the script, like this is the one. I feel like this is the book. It stands on another level than the first 2. Also, FiveStar is part of another collaboration series called Power Company. We have issue 1 out of it, and issue 2 Kickstarter for it's running right now too as well.
Oh, good.
So if you go to Coalition Comics on Facebook, you can find out all there is to know about that. Just follow my page, man, and just we're whether or not the Kickstarter is successful or not, it's not going to hold us back. We're going to keep cranking out comics. We're going to keep telling stories. We're going to try to keep being game changers in our communities and just still rock it, man. And just super grateful to be a part of this. This is my first podcast, actually. So
I love it. And you did, I mean, you aced it. I mean,
well, thanks, man. I was a little nervous at first. My stomach was a little I was a little nauseous and everything, bro. I wasn't sure.
No.
But you've been a good host, man. You let it through me like it was my first date or something. So it's cool, bro.
Hey, just call me after the first time we hang up, and you come back anytime.
Yeah, there will be a second date.
All right, that's fantastic. Well, listen, hang on me just for a little bit. I'm gonna come back to the stream, but I want to say thank you to you. But I'm gonna mute everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Tony Klapper. He's got FiveStar right now on Kickstarter. The link is in there, or the link's below if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you check it out. It's fantastic stuff for all ages. It's very worth it. You also get that 5-page preview of his next comic coming out that's with his daughter. And all the best to Tony Klapper and the fam. Thanks so much for being here, man, and we will talk to you
thank you, man.
soon. Yeah, buddy. Talk to you soon.